are listening to BL in the Air. This is our final episode of the season. We're
Woo!
40 episodes in at this point.
It's crazy.
It's so crazy. So, yeah, it's our season finale for now. Don't worry, we will be back in a couple of months with a new season. We just need some time to catch up on shows, have a little break, have a little summer, all that. So, yeah, if you have anything specific you want to hear in the next season, leave us a comment or let us know on our socials. We're definitely open to suggestions. But until then, we will we'll continue with our final episode of the season, which we're going to be covering the Japanese remake of Love in the Air. It's called Love in the Air Koi something. It's got a longer name, but it's Love in the Air Koi. Yeah, so we figured we named the podcast after Love in the Air. So we have to cover the newest edition of it. So, but before we get into that, Alex, what's in the air with you?
I haven't really watched any shows lately. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but instead, I've been reading the novel that goes with My Stubborn, per the
Yeah.
recommendation of one of our watchers, listeners, I don't know. She
Mm-hmm.
left a comment on Spotify to read it because honestly, like one of the leads in the show is awful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like there's I would say at best dubious consent um in the show
At best.
at best. Um
Uh-huh.
like the most recent episode at one point, I don't even care about spoilers right now, but at one point the other main lead is giving the bad one like a blowjob in the bathroom and he like taps out and like they don't stop. Like that's the type of stuff that's happening, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's like he repeatedly taps out, right? And so it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I had 10 minutes into the episode and I haven't been able to pick it back up because I'm so tired of every NC scene being like not very consensual.
Yeah.
In the book, like the character's still kind of an asshole because that's just his personality, but none of this non-consensual bullshit is happening. None of it.
Really?
Right?
That's
Like
an interesting thing to add in if it's not in the source material.
I know, right? Like, because it's one of those like I could tell when like certain scenes were gonna come up, and like the blowjob scene isn't even like it's a mutual masturbation is what's happening instead. Like,
Okay.
like they're both into it.
Sounds
It's
a lot
fine,
more mutual.
right? And like stuff like that, and like they're both like into everything that's happening, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's other problems, of course, because you need plot, but like the book is so much better. I haven't been able to stop reading it. I picked it up yesterday, and I'm almost done with it today.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
So
yeah, I wonder what happened in translation then to the show. Like,
I have no idea. I have absolutely no. I don't understand at all. There's also like a GL couple in the show that's not in the book, but like
mm-hmm.
I don't think that's written well either, to be honest. Like in the show,
Mm,
um,
yeah.
I think part of my problem is all these like the more submissive of the couples looks horrified every single time there's an NC scene. They look so uncomfortable.
That's my problem with a lot of like manga and like webtoons and stuff.
hmm Oh yeah, everyone always
Is
looks
like,
horrified.
yeah, I'm like, if you're looking horrified doing this, then I don't want to. I don't want to partake.
No. And that's like not at all how the book is. Like the book, everyone's like, yeah, this is great. Like I'm also horny. Like let's get it. Um,
Uh-huh.
so thank you for recommending reading the book. I'm having a great time.
Mm,
So, and then I will get back to watching stuff as soon as I'm done reading this.
yeah. So fair.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun reading the novels sometimes, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Like I haven't been this like into a book since I read like My Stand-In
Uh-huh.
because that was like
My
halfway
stand
through.
in my stubborn.
Yeah. I have a type, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I tried reading Pit Babe. I think I made it like a third of the way through before I was like, I can't do this. It's a little bit too much of the mama papa stuff going on. Same
Yeah,
as
that's
the
kind of
show.
in the new season as
Yeah.
well a little bit, but I'm living for it.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I'm living for it.
I can handle it when it's like Pavel saying it because I think it's funny. It just in the book,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, this is a different character in my brain, and I'm like, I can't do it. Um,
Uh-huh.
and then I started reading um from the new Jung Dunk show that hasn't started filming yet. Like the cop show, whatever it is. I started
Oh,
reading that one, and then I
okay.
forgot about it. But it was
Hmm.
good as far as I made it into it. It's gonna be really interesting seeing those two play those characters. But
Yeah. I feel like their characters for that show are kind of switched from like the
yeah,
normal
hmm
types that they play. So I think that'll be interesting, at least from what I saw in the pilot.
yeah. So I agree, and that's kind of the vibe I was getting as far as I made it into the book too. So,
Hmm.
um, but what about you, Shy? What's in the air with you?
Well, I'm continuing watching the shows that are currently airing. So I've been watching X Morning, which I'm loving, and Pit Babe, which I'm also loving. I don't know what it is about that show where I'm just like, is it a good show? I don't know, but I love it so much. And then I just started watching The Next Prince. So I think I watched the first episode or two episodes. And that's the farthest I got so far. But I'm liking that one a lot too. I'm loving like the budget on that one.
They spend a lot of
Like it
money on
just
it.
yeah, it looks so good and it's so nice to have setting that isn't just like, the normal settings that we normally see and I'm liking it a lot. I think
Yeah,
the fencing is was fun. I was like, "Oh, I don't know."
yeah. That's the only one that I'm actually caught up on because I was so excited to finally have another Z Nunu show that I stayed glued to it. Um,
Yeah, because I think this is the first Xenu show I've watched. I did see that one movie that they were in together, but
yeah, it's the one we
yeah, because
covered,
I haven't
right?
seen like Cutie Pie. Yeah, I forget what it's called. Something Sundown or
After
whatnot. But
sunset, I think.
yeah, it was something like
Yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, so now I'm like, I don't know, and I know them as like public figures and stuff,
hmm
but this is my first time seeing them acting in a series, and yeah, I don't know. Nunu looks like such a prince already.
Yeah,
Like
he does. It's
I know
kind of
the show
incredible.
starts and he doesn't know he's a prince, but it's like, come on.
He just even like off screen, like he's just got that vibe.
He does. He's like perfect to play a prince character.
hmm
So, yeah, I'm excited to see what will happen next. Yeah, all of the everyone trying to do a British accent was like cracking me up cuz I was like I'm no expert on British accents, but like I don't think anyone's doing it.
No.
Except Nunu. I think I was like, okay, he sounds kind of British, but
Yeah. The guy that was like playing his like best friend in England or whatever
uh
was having a rough time keeping any accent consistent. Um,
yeah, I know. That's like cuz at first I was like, oh, like he's also like he's from abroad or something. But
he
then
wasn't
there were
supposed
some
to
parts
be.
where he was saying things like super British and I was like, "Oh, is he British? I don't know."
I'm
But
pretty sure he was supposed to be British.
yeah.
Um, but
I just choose to believe that their version it's a fake world.
yeah,
Their version of England, everyone can have a different accent.
yeah, it's fine. And I'm sure
Mm.
we have like terrible like different like from the different like Asian countries we have terrible accents and stuff because we never hire like the right like ethnicity for movies.
Mhm.
So, it's all in good fun.
Yeah. So yeah, yep, pretty much I'm going to catch up on that next and the other shows while they're airing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good time right now.
Yeah, there's so much airing right now.
There's a lot. Yeah. I think those are the only 3 I'm going to be able to keep up with for a while. But I
Yeah.
guess that now that our break is starting,
Now we have time.
maybe I'll yeah, now I'll have time to need to pick up a show that's finished to watch on days when our new shows are not airing. So,
Oh, I don't know if I have anything that's been like recent to recommend. Let me.
I know I think I'm going to go through the old ones that
Yeah.
I've been saying I'm going to watch for like months now.
Yeah. Perfect 10 liners is a good like easy watch. Like if you want something just
Mhm.
light.
Okay, yeah.
Um I think you need to watch The Boy Next World.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, I didn't think you were gonna say that.
And mostly because I need somebody to talk to.
Okay, okay. I'll watch Boy Next World.
Yeah.
That one's pretty short, I think.
I think so. It's 10 episodes. So
Okay,
I just
it's shorter than Perfect Ten Liners.
yeah, Perfect 10 liners with their 24 episodes. Um
Yeah,
but Perfect 10 liners you can break up into like 3 series if you really want to be honest. Just
that's
watch 8,
true.
8 and 8 cuz it's basically just season 1, season 2, season 3 just all at once. Um
Yeah. Also high up on my list is Until We Meet Again in Between
yes.
Us.
Yes.
Those ones I've been wanting to watch for quite a while. So
Until we meet again is going to break you.
yeah, I know. I'm not ready, but I am.
I
I've
saw
had a
someone
lot of
on
time to prepare.
TikTok who was like, I want to watch a new show. What do you guys recommend? And people recommended that. And then like he came back and he was like, why do you guys hate happiness?
I saw that too. Yeah, I'm mentally prepared, so
Yeah.
it should be fine. But I'm still probably gonna get destroyed.
Yeah. But it's a good time at least.
Yeah.
And then between us is just that's my comfort show.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which
Yeah, I need to watch before Revamped comes out.
yeah, we had Q9 yesterday, I think.
Hmm.
Um they're
The
slowly
slowest cues of all time.
dying.
I hope. Who's the one that had like the blonde hair that was like growing out
Boone.
throughout? Yeah, Boone. I hope his hair isn't dyed for this show. Otherwise, it's gonna be another like. You're gonna be able to tell again.
Yeah. I think he has like it's dyed hair, but it's like a brown color, like his normal like
Okay.
that he keeps it like this shade of brown, I think. I think
Okay.
he and Prem both have like dyed hair, but it's like a color they always keep and not something that's super high maintenance. Um,
Okay. Good to hear. I'm like, that'd be
yeah.
funny if that's just like what you're known for.
Yeah. I
If it
mean,
happens
so
twice.
they had another show together. I can't think of the name of it right now. I think it was before Between Us. Um, me. And I want to say Boone had like really bright hair color in that one too.
Uh huh.
Even Sun. No, Prem had
Oh.
orange hair in that one, and Boone had his
Oh.
blonde dyed hair. So,
Yeah.
so I want to say that it was maybe more consistent, but not by much than Between Us,
Yeah.
between the both of them.
I guess that's a risk you run if you have bleached hair and also like a slow filming schedule.
I think it's a risk if you just don't keep dyeing it, because that's Boone
Yeah.
just lets it grow out, which is fine. I like the grown out like hair dyed look like that, but like if you're
Hmm.
filming while you're doing that,
Yeah, the continuity might become an issue.
yeah, because you can tell exactly what order like until we or Between Us was filmed in
Hmm.
just by his hair color and growth.
Yeah.
So, because that's Until We Meet Again and Between Us, the airing between them was like a 2 year gap. So
Oh, okay.
I don't think they filmed Between Us until after Until We Meet Again.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's 3 years because Until We Meet Again came out 2019 and Between Us was 2022.
That's
So,
quite a while for like
hmm
a sequel, prequel, spin-off.
yeah. So the timelines overlap.
Okay.
Like
Spin-off, I guess.
it's almost a one for one, but not quite. I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just the other POV basically. Very different
All
type of
right.
drama happening.
Yeah, I know. All I know is that like one of them is about like death and the other one's about swimming.
Pretty
I think
much. Yeah.
that's those are my impressions of both the shows. So they sound pretty different.
Yeah. The first one is about reincarnation,
Hmm.
and the second
Yep.
one is about swimming.
Love it. That's a hilarious duality.
Yeah, it's great because it's literally happening at the same time, right?
Uh-huh.
Here's the problems that these two are having, and then here's the problems these two are having.
These problems are not comparable.
No.
uh, all right. Well, should we talk about another kind of spin-off?
Yes,
Okay,
I guess.
well, as mentioned previously, we're going to be talking about the remake of Love in the Air. So, Love in the Air is originally a Thai show. It's one that we both love. And for the first time that I can think of, Japan has remade a Thai series, which usually it's the other way around. So, I can't think of another show that did that.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know of another one either.
yeah. So yeah, I was pretty interested to see how it would be. Because the Japanese version, Love in the Air, came out this year, 2025. Um, and yeah, I would say overall people were pretty disappointed. So we
Yeah.
wanted to kind of go through and talk about it and compare and contrast to the original. And yeah, we thought it would just be a fitting way to end the season. So
This one was painful.
I know. I feel bad.
Um,
I always feel bad when we're talking about a show that like we didn't really like cuz like I
yeah.
don't want to be mean cuz
I
it's like last season when we ended it on Darn Type, I was mean about it, but that's because I was like okay, they wrote the show bad. Like the writing's bad. Like but this one it's like a remake of material that originally exists and then they gave them like a quarter of the budget, and so it's like I feel bad because I feel like maybe a lot of the things that were bad about it were out of their hands, but at the same time it had like big shoes to fill and it didn't really get there. So
yeah, they really hyped the show up big time.
mhm.
And I thought with that that it would have the budget and like the planning and the script because like Mame obviously wrote both, right? Like she wrote the book and then
Mhm.
she was involved with like the script of the Thai version. And then I don't know exactly how much, but I know she was involved in the Japanese version as well. So you
Mhm.
would think when you have the creator of the source material that it would go better than this. But this
Yeah.
feels more like they did just a speed run and hoped that like the original fan base would just buy into it. And more
Yeah,
than
it felt kind of cash grabby.
yeah, I don't I'm curious how people who haven't seen the source material, like the Thai version, like how watch this, how they would feel
Mm.
about it. Um, if you go through the
Yeah.
MDL comments, there is some mix for people like this one better for some reason. Um,
Okay.
and I just I don't see how. Like if you've watched both, I don't see how. Like it's fine if you don't like the Thai version. Like it's not that. It's not like oh you have to like this, but it's I just they took out what made Love in the Air good. And they skipped that part.
Yeah. It was kind of a rough watch for me, especially because I had the original to compare it to. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, this version is exactly it's too similar. Like okay, at the end I wrote a couple things, a couple recommendations down of things I think they could have done to make it a little better.
Hmm.
But I think one of the big problems is that they didn't change enough. So it's kind of like watching the Cliff Notes version of the original show, and it's kind of like, why would you want to do that to an extent? Like they could have changed more about it to make it like it like worthwhile to watch
Hmm.
this version, but it's basically like watching the same thing just in the Japanese language and like a quarter of the length.
Yeah, I think you have it spot on with it being the Cliff Notes. Um,
Yeah.
so to go ahead and start the comparison for this one, um,
Mhm.
the Thai version was 13 episodes, right? I think. Um,
That sounds right to
it's either
me.
12 or 13. I want to say it had one extra episode just because of plot, because it's like the first part's like 7 episodes and the second one's like 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so this is 8 episodes. So it's already lost 4 or 5 episodes there. But then they're also 25-minute long episodes. So
Yeah,
instead of
and the
an
original is
hour,
like 40, yeah,
yeah.
45 to an hour, so.
So you've cut your time in half per episode, and then you've also dropped 4 episodes. So that's a lot to cut. Which
Mhm.
sure, there's plenty that probably could have been cut from the original and it been fine. But I think what makes the original good is the relationship development more than the actual plot. Like the whole plot of like Rain getting like kidnapped and whatever was just goofy as hell and like it's fine, right? But it's like the relationship that like Payu and Rain have is like what really sold me on them. And the same with like Papaya and Sky. It's what like
Mm-hmm.
really sold me on them was that. And then that I feel like throughout the show is going to be my biggest complaint of I don't feel that connection. And I don't like I don't fault the actors. Like I don't think it's actors. I think it's just because it's so fast. There's no time to do that. Be-
Yeah,
they focus more on the actual plot than they do on the relationship.
yeah. There's no time to do that. Also, I kind of have a suspicion that they casted based on does this character look like the original character that
Absolutely.
played it instead rather than casting for like chemistry, which is probably I mean the original probably only casted for chemistry, which or they either that or they just got insanely lucky by having people who have insane chemistry, but I assume they prioritized that a little
Yeah.
bit better. And unfortunately, the story really relies on heavy chemistry. Otherwise, like, there's plot, obviously, but it's not like a plot driven story. Like, that's not why people
No.
watch it.
Yeah, it's a
So,
relationship driven, absolutely. And I will
uh,
say Shoma definitely cast because he looks the part of Payu, but I also
he
think he's the
does.
strongest actor of the four. So,
I would say the one who plays Sky. I was like, because he definitely is given more. He's given material where he has to, so have some trauma.
yeah.
And there were some parts where I'm like, okay, it's like hard to believe because the runtime has been so short. But I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I think his acting's like fine.
Yeah.
Um, but another problem, and like this isn't really like obviously not the actors' faults, but like some of the actors are much older than the characters they're playing.
Mhm.
And so they're just like, oh, here are some like fresh faced freshmen in college. Look at our 18-year-olds. And it's just like a grown man. And it's like,
Sh-
okay.
Sh- Shoma's actually the youngest of all four.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
he looks like it. And
yeah.
that's not a diss on everyone else. It's
No.
just like, I know a lot of times actors are older than the ages they play, but in this case, when they're like 10 years older and stuff, it's just like, okay, it's like a little bit harder to believe that, you know,
So that's kind
they're
of
this
interesting
young, innocent people.
because like I had Pete that plays this version of Sky or that plays Sky and Rio that
Mhm.
plays Kai here are I think the same age.
Yeah.
So I will say Pete also looked older than he should have for the show, but like the chemistry just
Uh-huh.
made it fine. And then
Yeah.
for being the baby of the group from the Thai version also looks like the baby of the group for real.
Yeah, I will
That was
say
like my complaint with the Thai one.
yes. No, I that was my thing too where I'm like I can't be too upset about some of the actors being older than the character they're playing because in the original Fort looks like a baby and he's supposed to be this like big CEO whatever, but he's like 22 and it's like
Yeah.
or like 20 he's like really young looking and it's like okay, I don't think he's this like big scary business guy because he's literally a baby. So
Yeah.
that was I was like okay, that's a trade-off I guess that they're allowed to do it cuz the original kind of
Yeah.
fudged the ages as well.
Yeah. So,
But I guess we could get into the cast.
mhm.
So we know that it gets a little confusing because, you know, we have like the new actors, and we also know the old actors, and then the names are different than in the original. They changed
Mhm.
that. So we have Nagumo Shoma, who plays Arashi, who is the Payu character,
Mhm.
which is Rain's character. We have Suzuki Asahi, who plays Fuma, which is Papai's character, and Nagatsuma Ryo, who plays Kai, which is the Sky character. So, yeah, new names.
Yeah.
I assume maybe they're also like weather themed. I know the Thai names are all,
I don't
weather
know if
related.
they are or if they went like with Ray and Kai. to keep the names
Mm,
close. So Rei, like rain, Kai, sky.
that's possible. Yeah, if you speak any Japanese, let us know if Arashi, Rei, Fuma, and Kai mean anything weather related.
I'm Googling sky in Japanese real quick.
Yeah.
It's Sora.
Sora, okay.
So I think they went
Probably
to
not.
sound closer on rain and sky.
Okay. And Propai, they're like, he looks like a Fuma. So, um, and yeah, also we're gonna be spoiling the whole plot, but it's also the same plot as Love in the Air. So if you've seen the original Love in the Air, nothing's gonna be a spoiler anyway. So.
So Fuma means wind demon. So
Oh,
that
Fuma.
one
Yeah,
checks
that
out.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
so they actually
Yeah.
changed that one to fit the wind thing with
Uh
Propai.
huh.
And then Arashi means
Arashi.
storm. So
Oh,
they
okay.
kept
So
that
we do
one.
still have like the themed names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
So
that's fun.
yeah, that's cool. I'm glad they kept that. Ray
Yeah.
means it has a bunch of different names. A different it can mean zero, bow, spirit, or example.
Okay.
So yeah. So it seems like Ray and Kai they just went to keep the names close.
Yeah. Which is nice because I'm gonna forget which character's which. It's been a couple weeks since I watched the show,
Yeah.
so I have to try to remember. Um, but yeah, we'll start with episode 1. So so we start the same way that the original Love in the Air starts, and our main characters they sneak into this like illegal bike race, and while they're there, they get caught for not be supposed to be there. Except this time, they're not car racing; they're like dirt bike racing.
This is already my first big complaint about the show.
I mean, okay, this part is straight budget cuts,
It
but
has to
I
be
agree.
because why is dirt bike racing illegal? What am I missing?
I don't. Yeah, why is that illegal? Also, we're in Japan, land of
Like,
Tokyo Drift, Fast and
right?
Furious. Like, we can have some illegal streetcar racing, but
Right?
you
Like
know,
if I think of like really nice like fancy race cars like for street racing, I think of like the Japanese kind, right? Like that you see in all
yeah.
the movies. Like I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what I see in all the I don't think dirt bike racing. I can't
I
take it
know, yeah.
serious.
I don't understand how that would be illegal at all, but
No.
I don't know. Maybe the laws are different in Japan,
Yeah.
but
I have no idea, but it takes me out every time I see them doing this dirt bike racing. And then they have like the
yeah.
same security setup from like the original one where you have to like know a code to get in and some nonsense and there's like security
Yeah.
everywhere. And it's like, okay, guys, whatever.
Yeah, we can't have locals checking in on our bicycle race like oh.
Yeah. So that already takes me out with that. I'm not gonna lie, first
Yeah.
scene. And I'm already like, what?
Yeah. I know. And it's definitely a budget thing,
Yeah.
but like yeah, these things kind of add up. So,
Like I would
um
have like they should have like rented like a racetrack or something and just done it like races at a racetrack like with nicer cars or something.
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. But that's me being
But
nitpicky.
yeah. I mean, imagine Pit like a Japanese remake of Pit Babe, but it's all bike racing instead. Oh,
I wouldn't
yeah.
take it like okay, Pit Babe, sure. Whatever you say, dear. You know, like
He's bike chain babe now. Yeah. So that's how it starts there, but then it does the thing where it flashes back. So we'll go
Mhm.
back in time after that, and we start with Ray and Arashi, and they meet because Ray's car breaks down, and like Arashi's there to fix it. Basically, similar
Mhm.
story
Yeah.
as the original.
Yeah, they keep this pretty close.
Yeah, and Ray he goes like afterwards. He tells his friend Kai He was like, oh yeah, this handsome stranger saved me. And at the same time, Kai's senior, Arashi, which Ray doesn't know his name at the time, but Arashi's been spotted at campus, and so people are talking about him. Especially, they have a friend named Rinka, who Ray likes. She's freaking out because she likes Arashi. And then Ray is just like, well, he can't be prettier than my bike guy, so. But doesn't know it's the same person.
Yeah. Which is how the original goes, which is really
Yeah.
funny.
The original, oh yeah, he does have a girl he likes.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forget about that.
Yeah, it's because she's
But
forgotten pretty quick.
yeah.
She
Well,
only has like 4 scenes in this too. It's so fast that she sticks around. It feels like a little longer, even though she doesn't really.
I know it. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Um, and so later on, they like everyone in the major or whatever. They go to a bar. They're having like a social event. And like the legendary Arashi shows up. Oh my god. It's also his mysterious biker guy. Who would have guessed?
Amazing.
Yeah. And then of course, like leaving the bar that night, Ray's car breaks down again. It's got a lot of car problems.
Yeah.
And Arashi's there, of course, and he helps him like tow his car to the shop. And then afterwards he like takes Ray home, and then he like just starts like kissing his neck until Ray pushes him off, which is like
It's
it's the same plot as the original, but it is not the same show anymore. you know?
yeah. I mean, it's the hooking up is supposed to be the payment, right, for fixing the
Mhm.
car and the tow and all that. I just again, it's lacking the chemistry that makes this not awkward.
Yeah, cuz the original it works so well because Rain like is sitting there like being kissed and stuff, and you can see on his face, and I think there's a voiceover too where
Hmm.
he's like wait, I really like this, but don't I can't like it, like snap out of it, like
Yeah.
don't he's you can
Hmm.
see he's totally into it, but he's telling himself like no, like don't do this, which is why it works. It's not creepy, but this one
Yeah.
is just like awkward because it's like I don't know if he's into this or not.
Hmm.
So yeah, it already feels a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ray goes and he picks up his car the next day, and it's like super expensive. And he's like, "Oh my god, like I can't pay that." And the guy is like, "Oh, wait, no, you're Arashi's boy, right? Oh, the charges are waived." And he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." But then Arashi comes around. He's like, "Nothing is free." Wink, wink.
That's so scary. Like I
Uh,
would be so stressed out from that. Like what
yeah. Without, especially without the sexual tension there,
yeah.
it's like, it's terrifying. You know?
Hmm. Yeah. Cuz I mean this basically is exactly how it goes in the Thai version,
Mm-hmm.
but it takes more than 20 minutes to get to that point from the opening scene to this. And so
Yeah.
you've had a little chemistry build up, I would say, cuz like
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, in the first episode of the original, already chemistry is like electric.
Mhm.
So you don't realize how much that carries the show until you have to watch a different version of it where it's not quite the same, and then it's like, oh, this is kind of weird.
It's the reminder that like Arashi or Payu is actually not a green flag character.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, oh right, he was a red flag. Um,
Yeah, we just didn't notice, or
yeah.
we could overlook it because
I
at
on
least Rain was like into it,
Yeah, I honestly the first time I watched it didn't notice that he was a red flag at all. Like somebody
Hmm.
said it at one point and I was like, "What? What are you like
Yeah, I kind of
Payu is
forgot about the
great."
car. Well, by the end, you kind of forget about the whole car payment thing. So,
Yeah. Well the thing is I don't even think it's in the movie or in the show, but in the book, like you find out that Pai was the one that fucked with the car to begin with when at like the right.
Oh,
So like he caused this
yeah,
to begin with. So the second time the car broke down, right? Not the first time, but the second time when they're at the dinner, like the social thing for
yeah,
the architecture majors, he was the one who fucked with the car so it wouldn't start.
yeah. That's so
So
red flag. But they don't keep that in the
yeah,
show.
so thankfully they don't keep that in the show. But like knowing that and like that like already and then like the questionable like consent happening with whatever is happening in this bedroom
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the thing about Payu and Arashi is they don't explain what the payment is going to be until after you've already committed to it.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Well, you could still pay
Yeah.
cash. You got cash? You don't?
Yeah.
Well,
Cuz Arashi
got
and
another
Payu,
payment."
yeah, Arashi and Payu both did way more work to the car than what was needed to get it running
Yeah.
again, which is part of why it was so expensive. So,
Yeah. And that's how episode 1 ends.
yep.
So, episode 2 starts with so Arashi's at the university, and of course everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Arashi." And he goes up to Rain and he's like, "Hey, you're going to pay me back one way or another." And they have
Okay.
kind of the parallel, yeah, to the bathroom scene from the original,
Mhm.
except this time they're in Ray's car. And okay, the bathroom scene in the original, like my favorite scene of the whole show. It's like it's so good. It's so hot.
Mhm.
Cuz they're like in a stall together doing things, and then they have to hide cuz someone walks in, cuz like it'd be a little obvious if, two guys are just like walk out of the bathroom stall together. But this one, they're just in Ray's car, and then people walk by, and they have to like push down like the recline the seat all the way back to hide from them. And it's also like, okay, if someone walked by and saw two guys sitting in the front seat of a car, they probably wouldn't think anything. So I don't know why you had to hide like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's like,
I
okay.
the bathroom scene definitely made more sense.
Yeah.
Um, I did like the car scene though. Like it outside of the fact that it does make sense why they're hiding. Like I will say there was chemistry happening with
Yeah.
Arashi on top of Ray at one point and like torturing
Uh-huh.
him. Um,
Yeah.
like the one blip
Yeah.
of chemistry that was there. Um,
Mhm. Yeah, that's I when I saw that I was like, "Oh, okay, this is the bathroom scene." Like this is
yeah.
something where it's like they I wish they changed more scenes
Hmm.
like this so it was like, some new crumbs to pick up, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like they changed like the wrong things, right? So they changed the race,
Yeah.
they changed the bathroom scene.
Yeah, which was my favorite scene, but
Hmm.
it's fine. So, basically later at some bar Rashi's at, there is a guy, his name's Taiga, and he's talking about the racing in public, which Arashi gets mad at because apparently you're not supposed to talk about dirt bike racing in public.
It's because it's
uh,
illegal.
this illegal dirt bike racing, which it's so funny because as an American, dirt bike racing is a sport that like 8-year-olds do. Like
You
that.
can be
If
older
you're
and do
like
dirt bike racing.
a little, yeah. But if you're like an 11-year-old boy, you're going dirt bike racing. Like I just the way that it's treated is so funny. But um, so he gets mad about that because you're not supposed to talk about it in public. And Ray is going around and he's asking people who know Arashi, like his classmates. He's like, he keeps asking for Arashi's weakness, and all of them is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what a weird thing to go around and ask." Because he's trying to like get out of this payment still. Um, and one guy though kind of cracks and he's like, "Hey, I heard this rumor about Arashi. And that's when we cut to the bike race. So I assume that was how we learned about this race thing. And that's
Yeah.
how we end back up at the beginning where we started the first episode.
I just Googled, and dirt bike racing is not illegal in Japan.
Oh, okay.
So there's regulations on holding events, but like, when isn't there regulations on holding events, right? Um,
Yeah.
cool guys.
Well, yeah. I guess. Why not? Maybe they're going faster. They're speeding. They're going faster than the
Oh,
speed limit.
okay.
So that's illegal.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah. I feel like they
Um,
do a better job of explaining how they like the approach they take for explaining how Ray finds out about the dirt bike racing makes more sense here,
yeah,
right?
I agree.
Because Sky is the one who finds out the information for Rain in the Thai
Mm-hmm.
version. And the way it's like explained is like Sky finds out from like his ex, but then his ex is someone he can't even be around because of the trauma, right? Like he just
Yeah,
so that doesn't make any sense. Um
no. Yeah, that I was like confused about that too in the original. So I like I if we're gonna get to point A to point B really quick, I
this
like the method that they chose to connect the two.
yeah, this definitely makes way more sense than having to like try to like randomly be like, "Oh yeah, Sky found it out somehow." Um
Yeah. No, I agree. I that is a point
mhm.
to the Japanese
Yeah.
version.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's a few, yeah.
It's not all hate here.
No, no. So yeah, we're back at the beginning where they're at the race and they basically like some security notices that like Ray and Kai aren't supposed to be there, so they get yelled at and like Ray is running where Arashi catches him and it's like you're not supposed to be here and oh okay. So the spanking scene.
I hated it the first time, I hated it the second time.
I'm so with you. I just he's it's not sexy spanking. I think it's supposed to be,
Is it?
but it's not. I don't know. It's just weird, like disciplinary. Like, I mean, okay, the original Love in the Air definitely has like a daddy kink, but this is like an authority kink or something because he's like fully clothed, and Arashi's just sitting there like smacking ass, but
Yeah.
like bad boy. It's like okay, like he's a dog or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah.
really, it's like not sexy. Like they're not
No.
doing anything. It's
No.
just like here's this guy he met one time, and now he's in bent over his knee, and he's like fully clothed, spanking him. I don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
I feel like when I explain it, it sounds like it would be hot, but trust me, when you watch it, it's just so weird. Like this is like their third conversation, so it's like
Yeah. I could I don't know what this is supposed to be because it's like honestly even in the Thai version with the daddy kink, like it just that's not established at this point.
no. Yeah,
It's
I don't know how if I someone I just met a couple times is like come over here so I can spank you and be like
no, you freak.
no yeah
Like I mean, I guess part of it is trying to get the point across that like Ray like really fucked up with what he did because like apparently like sneaking in this race could have gotten him killed, right? Because that's how
mm,
dramatic it was in the first one, so I assume it's supposed to be severe in this one. But it just
yeah
I don't know, spanking me as an adult, even like a college student, like they treated them like kids, but like he's a college kid, like he's older.
yeah
Like I just absolutely not.
no it's so weird
Just yell at
and
me.
yeah just yell at me too. I don't know why I need to be like on the floor
Hmm.
but yeah so after that they're arguing but they do kiss for the first time.
Hmm.
And Ray now has this new idea where he's gonna make Arashi fall for him. So that's like his new goal.
He like disassociates after that too. He's just like on
He
the
really
couch, like
does.
gone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I'd react to that either. So, and then also so because he split up with Kai. What happened to Kai is that he gets caught by security, but Fuma swoops in and he's like, "Oh, this is like my boy, so don't worry about it."
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens with them, and more on that later.
Yep.
So episode 3, he Ray sleeps over, and he promises to Arashi that he's gonna make him fall for him in 1 month.
Nice.
So okay, sure. That's the motivation. Um, and Ray tells Kai this, and like Ray claims he's like, I don't actually like him. It's just about revenge, which is like
So
so
weird.
stupid. Yeah, like okay. Um, and then Ray finally starts trying to pursue Arashi, but like as soon as he starts trying, Arashi's never around. And so finally, like one day, Arashi comes and like they go out to eat, and Ray like loudly yells in front of everyone that he's trying to like woo Arashi in front of the whole restaurant. And it's I hate like public declarations of love or whatever. So this just makes me cringe so hard. But
Yeah.
Arashi does give his phone number, so like it works.
Yeah. So that way Ray can call or text when he wants to come over, so he's not wasting his
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah, yeah, because he kept showing up to the garage, and everyone was like, he's gone. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this will make it a lot easier to make someone fall for you.
I mean, it's really hard to succeed at that when the person's just not around. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
which I'm just now realizing, do we ever see Arashi at his like day job? Ever?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that just hit me. I was like, wait a second, because like you see Payu like doing the architecture job pretty often.
Yeah, I don't think we see it at all. In fact, their story is almost done. So, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think we get any of that.
Yeah.
um, cuz I think honestly, we don't even really see him do mechanic-y things either.
No,
So, he doesn't really do anything. He's just kind of
there's no time because we're speed running this
yeah.
show.
There's no time. Speaking of speed running, we must skip a bunch of stuff because in the original show it doesn't happen this fast, or at least it doesn't feel like it. But we get to the part where Ray dreams, he basically has like a dream about Arashi like gonna kiss him, and then he ends up, because of the dream, he like wakes up late, and because he wakes up late he doesn't turn in his assignment on time, which is like a big deal because this is when his he tries to turn it in late, and his professor's like, no, I can't accept this, like this is like a teaching moment for you, like you need to be on time in the future,
Hmm.
which is like super disappointing because like he had it all, like it was all ready, it was all finished, it just needed to be turned in, and just because of that,
Yeah.
he wasn't able to get credit, which is like devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. But also kind of fair.
Yeah, it happens in college.
Yeah.
But he's, it's his first year, whatever, so he's pretty broken up about it, and in front of his friends, Rinka and Kai, he's like, oh yeah, like this happened, it sucks, whatever, doesn't seem that upset. But then when he goes to Arashi's house, he like breaks down and cries, and it's kind of at this point where I'm like, I don't know if there's enough of a relationship set
No.
up between them where this would make any sense, because like in the original, like it makes sense that like um oh my god, what's his name in the original?
Payu Rain.
Yeah, Rain. That like Rain is like really broken up about this, and because of that, like Payu like breaks down because of it too, or he like he like runs into comfort Rain. But like in this one, like they don't know each other, so it's like why would like Arashi be upset for Ray? He doesn't know the guy.
Yeah,
He
that's
like just got his phone number like a minute ago.
yeah, that's where the speedrunning and skip and like they focus on like the actual plot from the original and not the relationships. That's where you really have the detriment to that, right? Because in the
Mhm.
Thai version, the reason because honestly it probably happens episode 4 or 5 as well. Like it's so it's not much further along episode wise, but
Mhm.
that's like double triple the amount of time that we've gone through, right? So
Yeah.
from basically from getting spanked to like get it going like going to dinner that time and like getting the number, like you see a lot more of like what Rain is up to, right? And then even
Mhm.
after he gets the number, you see more of what he's up to between that point and then missing his assignment, right? Like you
Mhm.
see more of him actually at the mechanic shop, and you see like the amount of effort he's putting into projects, and like he's sleeping over basically, and he's spending all his time whether or not Payu is there, and then Payu is there watching a lot of this and seeing him do all this, but um
Mhm.
and so at least they're around each other. Because I would say there's
Yeah.
not a lot of dialogue in that. It's a lot more of a montage, but like it
Mhm.
gets the point across way more than this does.
Yeah. I mean, there's still like there's growth there, and
Hmm.
there's time to build something,
Yeah.
and also there's like they already have this chemistry, so like you do believe that Payu cares about Rain, which is why
Hmm.
when Rain breaks down and Payu comes in to comfort him, it like it seems reasonable. But like
Yeah.
in this version, it's just like none of that's happened, so it just it feels like way too fast. It's
Hmm.
like pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it this is something else where it's like I don't know, they probably should have changed it, but yeah.
Yeah. I just, I mean, because like this missed assignment is a turning point in their relationship, but when
Mhm.
there's no relationship to turn,
Yeah,
like what
exactly.
what are we doing?
Yeah. What's happening here?
Yeah, I don't. I wanted to like the show so bad.
I know.
Um, but yeah, no. Like I don't. That's so even up to this part, I don't know what I would have necessarily done different.
Mhm.
I would have
I
almost say take you know as much as I love the bathroom scene as well. I would almost say take that time out
mhm.
somehow and focus more on actually building a proper relationship in them. Like
Yeah, I think honestly we need less plot, more relationship.
yeah. So
Yeah, that would be my
it's
advice too.
I don't know what scenes I would have taken out to fit that within the time frame. Like maybe skip the opening scene of the bike and get further and like little things like that. Um
Yeah, skip the spanking scene.
yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, cuz like after this basically Arashi tells Ray like not to come over anymore and focus on your life and like school first and take it more seriously.
Mhm.
But like at this point, like just 5 minutes ago, runtime wise, we had Ray be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not into him. I'm just gonna make
Mhm.
him fall for me as like revenge." But like at this point, like in order for it to work, like Ray needs to actually like they actually need to have like real feelings for each other,
Yeah.
which is like okay, like 5 minutes ago you said you didn't, and also you
Mhm.
didn't know him, so like whatever.
Yeah. It's just it doesn't work.
No, it
Like
doesn't. Again, it's a Cliff Note version.
yeah.
And so Rinka tells Ray that she likes Arashi and she wants him to set her up because she's like, you know him. So that's just kind of awkward because it's like the girl he quote unquote likes and then the guy he, I guess, likes, but he said he doesn't. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a little love triangle there.
They could have left this out.
They could have left this out. Yeah. I don't know if any of this was necessary.
No, they absolutely could have left this out. If they're gonna leave anything out, this random side plot that doesn't really matter
Yeah.
with Rinka.
Sorry, Rinka. I'm sure you're a great person, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't add that much drama.
No,
So
it adds nothing compared to like what we needed.
no, I don't even think Arashi knows Rinka exists.
No. Is this the same Rinka's brother also has a thing for Arashi? Because there's like a moment
Yeah.
um where Rinka is like talking about how her brother talks so highly of Arashi or whatever, and then Ray is like, "Oh, does your brother have feelings for Arashi or whatever?" And it's like a little mini homophobia moment that's never addressed again. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
so
That's true.
which I mean happens in the original as well, but you at least see those characters come in later in a way that's relevant. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
it's fine, like it works out, but I don't know that we even meet Rinka's brother in this one.
I don't remember meeting him.
I don't either.
So
And I literally just rewatched this like 2 days ago, and I still don't
yeah.
remember.
Yeah, right.
So, hmm.
Because then, like, the next thing that happens is that, like, Ray finishes his project he's been grinding for, I guess, and, like, immediately goes to see Arashi. But then he doesn't say anything. He just kind of, like, watches from afar. I guess Arashi is fixing up a bike, so
Yeah.
he's kind of doing mechanic things.
Hmm.
And then he leaves without saying anything because he still has to, like, present the project. And so he does that. It goes well. And so he goes to actually visit Arashi, which is funny again because it's like, you can't see me anymore until you finish this project. And then the next minute, it's like, okay, project's done, time to go. Like, let's go see
Yeah.
Arashi again.
Yeah.
So,
I just, it's, okay. So I had a little bit of a problem with this in the original one too, but,
mm-hmm.
it's this whole get your life together, get your like schedule, learn how to schedule and like do your work and have a life and then come see me type of a deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's doing one school project enough to prove that you can get your life together?
I mean, I guess it's enough to, like, save your grade a little bit, but yeah.
I guess because the whole
But
thing
I
is he
kind of,
couldn't like balance doing his work and like chasing after Arashi. So
mm-hmm.
then he did his next project, and then Arashi gets to chase after him or whatever, however they spin that next. But
Yeah. It's definitely something that, like, in the real world makes sense to do for longer, because when you're
yeah,
like a college freshman, it probably takes like 3 months or so to, like, kind of get, to
yeah,
really get the, like, the new pace of life down. But
yeah,
in a TV show that is boring to watch, so I feel like I get that it's like a
yeah,
little bit movie magic, but
yeah.
yeah, that is kind of the idea.
It's just one of those. It's I did one project, fixed all my life problems. Cool.
Yep.
Let
Like,
me
okay,
pursue you
everything's
now.
good. Yeah. And of
Sure.
course, yeah, in this version it's like extra sped up. So
Yeah.
that arc's already over.
It took
um
5 minutes. Congratulations.
yeah, right. um and so well, I guess before he goes to see Arashi, he's finally admitted to himself that he loves Arashi, so he tells, or no, he hasn't. He tells Kai that he doesn't know if he loves Arashi, but he wants to keep pursuing him. So he's admitted to himself that he actually does like this guy,
Mm-hmm.
which is new for him because, at least in the original, he doesn't know he's queer at all.
Yeah.
In this version, I assume it's the same, but I feel like it's emphasized on less.
Yeah. It's
So,
because I think they still address that he likes Rinka, right? So I don't know. They
yeah,
definitely just don't focus on it outside of
yeah.
because like in the original like Rain is always like, why did I decide to like pursue him? I'm not gay. Like, oh, well, what am I about to
Yeah.
learn?
There's a lot more, like, questioning of sexuality in the beginning, which
Mm-hmm.
is why he was so hesitant, because he didn't even know he was into guys.
Yeah.
This one, I think it's, like, slightly hinted at, but
Yeah.
but I guess this is the moment when he realizes that, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that it is actually like a thing. He's not just doing it for revenge, like he said previously. And he does talk to Rinka, and he also says like, "Oh, I can't help you, like with I can't like wingman you with Arashi because I maybe have a thing for Arashi, so that's kind of a conflict of interest."
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry Rinka, you never had a chance
Nope.
to begin with. And so it's race night, and Taiga, that one guy, he's upset because he lost his race. So he decided to blame Arashi, who's the mechanic, because for some reason it's not his opponent's fault, it's not his fault, it's the damn mechanic's fault. So he's like, I want to race you, Arashi. Um and everyone's like, are you gonna do it? Like, you're not a racer, you're a mechanic. And he's like, I'll do it. So while they're racing, Ray shows up, and this is the first time he has tried to talk to Arashi after the project. And fortunately, Arashi wins, and they kiss, and oh my god, they're so happy.
Yeah. Yes.
Yay! I hope nothing. I hope we never see Taiga again. Yeah. But for now, everything's all good. They go home. They have sex for the first time. Um, and Arashi is like, "Stop courting me." Dot dot dot. Because now I'm gonna court you. Whoa, switch up.
I wish they would stop doing this to where there's a pause in between. Stop courting me, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna pursue you. Like that
Yeah.
causes trauma to Rain and Ray.
Yeah. It's kind of like the thing where they're like, "I don't want to be your boyfriend anymore, cuz I want to be your husband." Like, it's so mean.
Right? Like, please stop doing that. Nobody, like,
Yeah.
that's not nice. I don't want to see
No,
them
no,
cry.
no one likes it. Yeah.
Like,
So,
especially to like hook up and then be like, actually, I don't want you to pursue me anymore. Like, oh,
yeah. Be like, "Oh,
okay.
it was that bad? Sorry." I if I'm sorry, but if I had a sex with a guy and they were like immediately after they were like, "I don't want to see you anymore." I, I don't even I don't know what I'd do with myself. I might have to exit
Yeah.
this world cuz couldn't handle that.
Yeah, I just, no.
um so yeah, they're all good and happy. Kai is not, though. He wakes up to a nightmare. Dun dun dun.
Yay, trauma dreams.
Trauma dream. We're about to start transitioning over to our new couple.
Yep.
So that's how episode 5 starts. We're gonna kind of, hand off the torch. Um, so Arashi takes Ray out on the bike for the first time. They go shopping. They get like little matching couples shirts, which I kind of hate, but you do you. I know it's bigger in like Asian cultures and stuff, but I'm like oh, I don't know. I guess if I was dating a girl and then I think maybe it'd be fun to match. Maybe I have a double standard on this. But if I was dating a guy, I don't know if I'd want to match.
The same color scheme, but not the exact same
Yeah.
clothes. That's kind of my take on it. I'm like, it's fine if we want to both wear all black or like black white or like color or whatever. Like, go with it. But like, I don't have to wear the exact same shirt and pants as you do and
Okay.
shoes. Like, right?
I feel like matching shirts is like it just makes me think of like toddlers who are twins and like their parents put them in like the same outfits. Like, that's the vibe I get. So I'm
Yeah.
with you on like the coordination, cute matching shirts. I don't think I would do it, but I know
No.
like when I was in like Korea and stuff, I know like the couples outfits were huge. So
Yeah. Like, I definitely get that it's a culture thing. But
yeah.
just it's just not for me. Because like the way you think toddlers, I think like every family reunion that goes to Disney.
Oh,
They all get like
I see.
airbrushed matching shirts or like printed matching screen shirts or whatever of like
Yeah.
whatever family reunion, Disney, whatever. Like it's very much a thing.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, another reason.
So
Um, but yeah, while they do this, they run into Kai and they sit down and they Ray tells Kai that like they're dating, and Kai's pretty much like, "Yeah, I know, I figured that out." And Fuma shows up and surprise. Okay, first of all, this show does not really establish at all that Fuma and Arashi are friends. Like
they're at the races together.
they're at the races together, but we never I they probably say like two words to each other this whole show.
They also when Arashi gets mad at the Taiga guy at the bar, I
mm,
think he's drinking with Fuma.
I think you might be right.
So we see them a little bit, but it's
But
definitely not as like well established cuz like
yeah.
Payu and Papai, I had to think. I was like,
Hmm.
Fort. What's Fort's character's
I
name?
yeah.
Like they have really good chemistry too. Like not like sexual chemistry,
Uh-huh.
but like their friendship chemistry is really solid in the show. Like immediately.
Mhm.
And yeah, I definitely don't see that chemistry here.
Yeah, I know. At this point, I forgot they were friends, so I was like, "How does Ray know Fuma?" But then I was like, "Oh yeah, through Arashi, I guess."
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, because Fuma shows up and like Kai and him know each other, but they don't make it very obvious. But um, we get like the flashback to the bike race, from the first time where like they get caught by security and then Fuma's like, "Oh, this is my boy," whatever, and the
Mhm.
security leaves. And then like what happened after is that Fuma is kind of just like, "Oh, well, if you want to get out of here safely, you have to like oink wink." JK though. But like Kai doesn't he's like in his head and like interrupts him and like doesn't hear all of that and like they have sex, which which like Fuma was just like joking about, but like Kai, because he has his own trauma, definitely like immediately took that seriously.
Mhm.
So a little bit of miscommunication, but yeah, that happens and then Kai leaves right after, doesn't give his contact info, so this is the first time they've seen each other since then.
Which was like 2 minutes ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 minutes ago about. Yeah, hasn't been long.
No. It definitely takes way longer in the Thai version
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
they do change the timeline of some stuff. So, because like in between all this is when when Rain gets kidnapped.
That's so true. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a little less long than the normal version as well. But that's okay. That's not like I don't think it really changes the plot
No,
that
it
much,
doesn't. It
but
just it changes the pacing a little bit, even like without the
yeah.
like the speed run part. Like it's just as a whole, like because we go
Mhm.
from racing to they hook up to they're together basically, right on the Ray side, and then
Uh-huh.
and then like some other stuff happens, and then we jump over to the like Propie Sky side, and here we're like
Mhm.
racing happens, they hook up. Fuma's now hanging out with Kai.
Yeah.
Like cool.
That's literally their whole story so far. um so they go off and they like talk privately. Fuma is trying to get to know Kai, and Kai is trying to get him to leave him alone. Um, and so Fuma asks Ray for Kai's number, which Ray gives because he has no loyalty to his friend. Just kidding. He doesn't know anything.
Yeah,
He doesn't know they hooked up and all that. So it's just like he doesn't think it's that big of a deal. Plus, I
yeah,
think he kind of wants to set them up anyway. Doesn't realize they already hooked up. So
yeah, and I think Fuma has some like fake excuse for why he needs the number too. So
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Why not? And so, Kai basically tries to keep people at like an arm's distance because he's afraid of being like used and just like tossed aside um by Fuma, which is why he's been ignoring him. I guess,
Mm-hmm.
the hedgehog's dilemma or whatever.
The what?
There's like this is not even the right comparison, but like the idea when like hedgehogs cuddle or porcupines, probably porcupine. I don't know. When two okay, this isn't actually doesn't even apply. So I was trying to think like when they cuddle and they get close, they like poke each other, so then they like stay
Oh,
away,
okay.
like that, but it's just him. He's the only porcupine
Okay.
or hedgehog.
I
So
see where you're going with the analogy. Just
basically, he's been hurt before, and so to protect himself, he just prevents any relationship from happening just in case it goes bad.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Got there eventually. Um so yeah, that's why he won't give Fuma a chance at all. Not because he didn't like enjoy the night with him or whatever. He's just like, you know, he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want a relationship. And so Fuma shows up at Kai's house and like flirts with him. And Kai has some like trauma flashbacks and runs away.
Cool.
Um, yeah, which we see. It's this whole storyline is like so sad every time you watch it.
Yeah.
But you see in flashbacks that like when Kai was younger, he dated this guy named Kurosaki, who was like abusive to him in general. He was like older and took advantage of him and like physically abused him. And then at the end of their relationship, he basically orchestrated like his gang rape, which is like horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is kind of Kai's trauma that he has, which is terrible.
Yeah. It's the Kai, this guy, the storyline is rough. And I will say that is one thing with the chemistry and all that. That character is the hardest one to act, I would say. Just
Mm-hmm.
because there is so much going on like
Yeah.
behind. Um so
Yeah. Yeah, this is a much darker storyline
yeah.
than the first half of the show.
Mhm.
Um and basically like Kai is so exhausted because he's having these nightmares and whatever. So he at school he like passes out
Mhm.
just from complete exhaustion. And yeah, episode 6 starts with Ray, for some reason, calls Fuma, of all people, about Kai passing out. To like, he's like, I need someone to watch. Okay, your friend passes out. You're like, I need someone to go take care of my friend. Should I do it? No. Should our mutual friend Rinka do it? No. Should my boyfriend do it, who I know and trust? No. Let's call my boyfriend's friend, who I don't know very well, but is into my sick friend. He can go watch him. Like,
Was
okay.
this established more in the Thai version or was it also this ridiculous? I don't remember.
I can't remember
'Cause I
either.
feel like it was
I,
at least a little more established
I feel like it
in
was because I don't remember being this appalled in that version, but maybe I don't know, they skipped past it better.
yeah. Cause like I know he didn't like none of the classmates stayed because they all had like work they had to do, right? They had to catch up and make up for what Sky was missing basically, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think they had some group work they had to do too. Um,
Yeah.
so like that made sense, but like I feel like Propie was a weird one then too, except I think maybe Rain did know. Like I think he knew Propie a little better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I yeah, I can't remember, but I feel like it was maybe less weird.
Yeah.
But still, it's definitely a strange choice of someone to take care of your sick, vulnerable friend, just some like rando who's into him.
Yeah.
But again, like in the original version, like Rain knows Prapai better.
Mhm.
So in this version, like if like it does, I haven't really seen them interact ever. So
Yeah.
it does feel very weird, but
Yeah.
um but yeah, basically Kai, of course, he has a fever because of stress, lack of sleep. So he needs to take a break while Ray um does like he's covering Kai's committee duties.
Mm.
So yeah, Fuma has to go over there, take care of him. Kai is kind of delirious from the fever and he clings to Fuma thinking it's his dad.
Yeah.
So I guess, is this like another Daddy King thing or like what is?
So, because this happens in the Thai version too.
Uh-huh.
And it's just, I think his dad is like a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like it's his dad is who always took care of him when he was sick as a kid. And so it was kind of that
Uh-huh.
more, not so much a kink as literally just that's who used to take care of him when he was this sick would be his dad. So,
Yeah. But I do I feel like including that and having Fuma or Papai mistaken as the father is another like parallel, is another way to show like, oh, this is his father figure now, which if you're into it, I guess, but
huh.
I don't know. I'm not
I,
personally that into it, but
no,
it's not, this part's not like of a weird sexual nature like the spanking
no.
thing is. It's, this part's just like sad.
Yeah.
So, it's not that weird, but I do, after, seeing these parallels once or twice, it does make me wonder what the intentions behind that is.
Yeah. That's fair.
So, his fever breaks, and Fuma immediately asks Kai to open his mind to the possibility of giving him a chance. And Kai is like, absolutely not, but kisses his cheek as Fuma leaves.
Because he doesn't want to owe
So,
him or some nonsense.
yeah, he's like, here's your payment for taking care of me.
Hmm.
Um, okay.
Sure.
Why not? This is when Ray does admit that this was a trial for Fuma that he set up, which is like weird if you're trying to set up like two of your friends. I don't think their first date should be like, take care of my deliriously sick friend for a fun little trial date. Like,
Right? Like, Mr. Playboy, please don't sleep with him while you're taking care of him.
yeah,
Like,
right.
what?
Like, I know it is just like to test to see if Fuma can like take care of his friend, which is like important in a relationship, but like as the first thing off the bat, kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah. If any of my friends are listening and want to set me up with somebody, this is not the way to do it. Thank you.
No, please don't. My God, if I wake up from like a fever and there's like some random person that I hooked up with one time months ago in my room,
I'm getting a whole new friend
never
group. I'm
talking to
done.
you again. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is a little batshit, but this is how it goes in the show. And so Fuma, like, he's kind of constantly following Kai around. He shows up at school and then like hangs out at the house and like sleeps over on the floor. I guess they're like hanging out together, but Kai's not really like letting him do anything else like physically. And he's trying to convince Kai that he's serious about him, and he's like, I've changed my player ways. And he's like, I haven't slept with anyone since meeting you. Okay, maybe 3 people, but like that's it. And it's like, you're not, no one's believing you.
This too. Just to be clear, this was in the
Yeah,
Thai version.
I do think, at least like in the Thai version too, I do think Papaya is quite pushy.
Hmm.
Like, this is kind of goes back again to my high school frenemy problem, where just me personally, if someone was trying to like date me and they just kept following me around, and like when I would tell them to stop, they wouldn't listen and whatever, like I would fucking hate that. So when I see that in shows, like that persistence, it makes me angry. So in the original version too, like when Papaya was doing this, I was like, okay, like I honestly would kind of get pissed about it. But The one thing about like this Japanese version though is that because it's so short, he doesn't really stalk him that long. And so I'm like less upset about it, you know? Cuz I'm like, okay, like when he's like, "Oh yeah, I haven't slept with I don't know. I'm just like, okay, you don't really like this guy doesn't really owe you anything. Like he can sleep with other people. It's you don't know each other."
Yeah. I- So I struggle because I feel like Propine Sky just had more time. A lot of their storyline is literally just that relationship building, right?
Yeah. Cuz
It
there's no
is
plot for their story really. It's just like
no,
being
it's
sick in bed.
Sky has some trauma and Popeye's excited to date this guy. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
and so but like even like then with Popeye, like some of like what his like stalking is just him like having food delivered constantly and stuff like that, right? So like
Yeah. It's not like that bad.
no, I mean he is around a lot as much as he can be, but he also like
Uh-huh.
has a day job that he worries about,
Yeah.
sort of.
It's not it's just like it's pushing past persistent, but it's not quite creepy.
Yeah.
Actually, this gets so creepy. Wait, I forgot about something that happens very soon. But yeah, but for now it's definitely like okay, like you definitely haven't changed your player ways. I totally understand why
hmm
Ray or why Kai doesn't want to date you still cuz you're definitely like
Yeah.
you haven't changed your player ways in like 2 days. So they like basically like the next day they like have a meal together and they get to know each other a bit more, and I think the scene is great because finally they're like dis- having a discussion and they're building a relationship.
hmm
I was like, okay, that's what I need.
Yep.
um but like as Kai is walking home, he runs into his ex, like the bad one, in like a tunnel.
Yeah.
So that's scary.
hmm I did
So
like this change though.
yeah, I did too. I thought it was like, I mean it's meant to be terrifying and it is.
Yeah. But like the setup with
Mhm.
like how everything happens because of the X coming into the picture. I
Yes.
like it a lot better than the Thai version where it's like Prapai kind of knows the X.
Yeah.
Like, you have great company, I guess.
Yeah, I know, I'm with you as well. It's there's a lot of weird ties in the first part with like the X and the racing and all that where
Yeah.
it's like okay, I'm glad we like did without in
hmm
this version because first of all it would have been too complicated to explain in like a 20-minute runtime,
Yeah.
and also it's just like weird, so
Yeah.
we can skip that.
I don't have to side eye Fuma.
Yeah, exactly, because if you're gonna be friends with those kind of people it does reflect on your character.
Yeah.
So episode 7 we see that Kurosaki the ex, he was watching them at the restaurant like a little creep, and he basically antagonizes Kai in the tunnel until Fuma somehow shows up and defends him. Um, which great.
hmm
Glad he can save the day. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's creepy that Kurosaki was just like following Kai around. Um, so yeah, so we get their interaction, and after that, Kai has been completely avoiding Fuma. Um, he has been staying at Ray's house and he's looking to move into like a whole new dorm because he wants to avoid Fuma. He wants to avoid Fuma that much, which is like kind of extreme. So, but like Fuma, so he shows up at the university cuz he's like looking for Kai, and like Ray and Kai walk in and Kai is like, okay, like you're literally only here because you think I'm like innocent and that I'm like need to be taken care of and like I'm sick of it, like I don't want to see you. Which like I kind of see his viewpoint because like you don't want to like look weak in front of someone else, and when you're faced with someone who was incredibly abusive to you, it's like, you know, it's kind of like, and and you're also with someone who like kind of views you as like someone who needs to be taken care of. Like I get where he's just like, yeah, this is like too much. I don't want to be babied. Get out of here. But um, so yeah, still he's still not accepting Fuma. Yeah, they don't know each other. So at the racetrack, Taiga sees Arashi and Rei together. He's like, bingo, I got an idea. And great. I'm sure his idea is going to be so fine and normal. Okay, so basically, like, Fuma is like discouraged because Kai, like, really doesn't seem to want to see him anymore. But Rei is the one who encourages him. Rei is kind of a shit friend. like like it like works out because Fuma is like a nice guy, but like imagine if this wasn't and Rei is just trying to set him up like against his wishes with like the worst person ever, you know?
This could have gone very wrong.
It could have gone so wrong. But yeah, Rei encourages him to go after Kai more, which is the opposite of what Kai said, but okay. And okay, this this part is so insane. So Fuma one day is just in Kai's apartment when Kai comes home, and he's just reading Kai's diary. Uh, what? I guess his dad owns the building, so he's like, yeah, I just like got the key to your apartment and was reading your diary. When this scene started, I was like, this has to be fake. This this isn't in the Thai version, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is? I don't even
It is.
remember.
So it is because it's the same thing where Sky is avoiding Propai and he goes and stays with a friend. It's not Rain. He goes and stays with somebody else, like one of the other architecture majors,
Mm-hmm.
and he starts looking for a new dorm to stay in. And he just ghosts Propai the entire time, and Propai um gets into the room. But the thing is, Propai at this point has like established himself in the dorm, right? Because that's where you have the
Yeah.
dorm mom or whatever that he would always like hang out with. And so she
Mm-hmm.
like let him into the room, so it was a little
Yeah.
less creepy, right? I think that's how it went. It could be that he
I think
also just had
so.
a copy of the key made, because at one point he did have the key, right? um
Mm-hmm.
and but like at that point, like leading up to that, like Sky and Propai had hung out a lot. Like Propai like came and like helped him with projects and like all the stuff leading up to this, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like they're they were well established before like this ghosting thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one is not as established. They had like what, dinner once, and then uh Kai was like bye. But yeah, because that's where it wasn't necessarily a diary, but it was Sky kept like a notes of everything about Popeye, like that he had two younger siblings that he took care of and what their names were and like his favorite color, and like he had that list because you see where
Mm-hmm.
he starts that list. Um, I think it was the day that Popeye had come over and cleaned like the entire apartment for Sky, why Sky was like doing homework or whatever. And then
Uh-huh.
he goes in the shower, and while he's in the shower, Sky starts his list of like facts
Uh-huh.
about Popeye.
Okay, this is why I don't remember because I feel like a list of facts about Propai is not the same as breaking into someone's house to read their diary.
Yeah. I mean, he still technically broke into the dorm to
Yeah.
read that, but I
Uh-huh.
their relationship was much more established, and I think at that point it was very clear that Sky was just running out of fear
Yeah.
and not because he didn't
Yes.
actually like Propai, right? Like it was very established.
Yeah,
Um
because here, up until now, it just seems like Kai is running because he just doesn't really like Fuma, or he just thinks like Fuma is just another scumbag like his ex, which
Mm-hmm.
is a good enough reason to not want to date someone, especially if you've been traumatized before.
Yeah.
It's okay to be extra wary. But yeah, not none of like we just haven't really seen them other than the one dinner. We haven't seen Kai look like he's at least a bit interested in Fuma. So, which is
Yeah.
why this scene is so weird, because
Yeah.
it's just
It
like it's like Fuma crosses the biggest boundary, and then now is the time that he accepts Fuma.
yeah. That's I think that's where speed running these relationships, especially on a story arc that is heavily about relationship building,
Yeah.
just doesn't work. Because like it's still a boundary I would say that was crossed with Sky and Papai, but it was
Hmm.
like
It was more of like
like
a
it was
leap of
fine,
faith.
right? Like it was one of those where like you didn't look at it and go, "Oh my God, what did Papai just do?" It's like, "Oh, he's,
Hmm.
no, he's serious about this basically, right? Like this is important to
Yeah.
him." Um and like they have their moment, like they're both just like sobbing on the floor at that point, right? Um
Yeah. Cause like, yeah, a part of their story is that we need time for Prapai or Fuma or whoever to prove themselves as worthy, to prove them as caring and loving
mhm.
to like Sky's character. And in the short runtime, it's not enough to be believable for us to believe that like Fuma's changed, or for us to even believe that he loves and respects Kai as like,
Mhm.
the original, which is kind of the issue. But
Yeah.
so yeah, it feels really random when Fuma breaks in
Mhm.
is into the apartment, is standing in the dark reading Kai's diary, where he's like, "Look, and here you admit that you love me, but you're scared of getting hurt, which is why you're stopping the relationship before it starts."
Yeah.
And, and then like Kai's just like sobbing and accepts Fuma, and they're like sobbing on the floor, and then they jump in bed immediately. And it's just like, okay, this, like, what happened? Like,
Yeah.
I
I
would have a very different reaction to this.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because I think the scene in like the equivalent scene in the Thai version is a really important scene, right? Like,
Yeah.
and for it to just miss the mark here is just sad.
Yeah.
Um,
I also think it's such like it's pretty heavy subject matter, a lot of
hmm.
it. And I don't think the show has enough time to like explore that in a way
Mm-mm.
that is like sensitive.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, it feels just all a bit off color.
Yeah, which I mean is kind of interesting because like some of the other like Japanese BLs we watched have heavier topics, right? But
Yeah.
maybe because it's only one storyline and not two, so they
Uh-huh.
can put the whole 8 episodes to like whatever that trauma is.
Mm-hmm.
That because it's like I know Japanese BLs can do this well. It just
Yeah. Because this one we basically had episode 5, episode 6, and then right now we're on episode 7.
mm-hmm.
So it's three 20-minute episodes. That's
Yeah.
kind of all we get.
It would almost have made sense to make this two different seasons of like 6 episodes each. And I think we would have had it
Yeah.
maybe a little bit better with just a little bit more time for them.
I agree, because we're almost done with the whole show, but there are 2 special episodes, but they don't really do anything to, like, to make the show any better. So
No,
yeah,
that's
we
just their fan
basically
service. That's all they are.
they're yeah, they're fully fan service. Um, did you watch the special
Yes,
episodes?
I did.
Okay, I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Jumping ahead, we have one more episode and then we can go.
Yeah, we have one more episode. Episode 7 ends with Ray getting snatched. He gets
Uh-oh.
kidnapped.
Yep.
Yeah. And then episode 8 starts with so Arashi's calling Ray, can't get a hold of him, not answering. And Taiga shows up to like the racetrack and shows a video of Ray to Arashi, and Ray's like tied up and clearly kidnapped. And he is like He's like, you have to do what like Tyga says, and I guess that he wants him to like do the race again but lose
Yeah, something like that.
something, and then he's like, then I'll tell you where Ray is. I don't know. It doesn't make sense because they're not even like having a race right now. It's like the day.
Yeah, they
I
end up
don't.
at a racetrack, I think, to do a race. Um,
Yeah, I was kind of confused, but
I think they were trying to put together a few different plot points at the same time, right?
yeah.
Because the equivalent to Taiga in the Thai version, they do a race at like the racetrack too, right? Because that's the one
Mm-hmm.
where Payu wins, and then they have like the really fun sex scene after that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Right.
So it's like that, but they use that for this kidnapping instead.
Yeah. Except I don't even think they re-race
No,
because we don't even get to that.
no.
Um,
Well,
because
okay.
basically at this, yeah.
So Taiga does race, but he races somebody else instead
Oh, yes,
because
you're right. You are right.
yeah, because Arashi leaves
Yes. Okay.
because yeah.
Well, okay, so we got two things going at once. So we have the kidnapping, and then we also have Fuma, or what Kai's classmate thinks is Fuma, gives him a hotel room key, and is like, "Give this to Kai," which just cracks me up because like that's so embarrassing. But
Right. But then Kai's like giggly about it.
yeah, he is, and I'd be like, "What the?
Yeah.
Okay." um, and but basically, so like Kai's like, "Oh, my boyfriend room hotel room key," so he goes there after class, and but it's a setup by his ex. It wasn't Fuma, it was
Hmm.
his ex that did it. And he's basically like threatening to send Fuma old videos of him and stuff, and um yeah, it's like pretty bad situation to be
Hmm.
in. But
Yeah.
Fuma figures out what happened to Kai. So he's talking to the classmates, and the classmates is like, yeah, like his boyfriend came and like gave him a hotel room key. Isn't that crazy? But then he's like, oh, but I'm the boyfriend.
Yeah. Wait a second.
So yeah, wait a minute. So he finds out like he's in a hotel and stuff, and it starts heading there.
Yeah.
Um, on Arashi and Ray's side of thing, so Ray is getting like beat up by Taiga, and I guess Taiga's like too violent or just like for no reason, and one of his guys flips sides, and he runs to Arashi, and he's like, yeah, this is the location Ray is in. Like, if you don't get there, Taiga might just kill him for fun, which I'm not about, so that's why I'm telling you.
Yeah. Good on random guy who flipped.
Yeah, good on him. A little bit of morals here.
Yeah.
Uh, and again, this is all for losing a race,
Hmm.
and because Arashi was the mechanic. Like, okay. So Taiga or Arashi goes there, and then like Taiga forces him to bow,
Yeah.
which happens in the original.
Hmm.
Um, to like, what else is he supposed to do? I guess he kind of just like runs in there alone, and it's like, give me my boyfriend back, and Taiga's like, no, bow to me.
Hmm.
While that happening, Fuma shows up at the hotel. He beats up everyone, like five people. He just like, poof, poof, poof. um, especially the ex. He like rips out one of the ex's earrings and beats him up so hard to the point where I'm like, he might be dead. Like he looks dead. But yeah, he deserves it though. So
100%.
even if he was, I'd be
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
got some karma. Um, and so back at the kidnapping, there's like a knife involved that Taiga has, and Arashi gets the knife, and he like releases Ray, and together they beat up everyone. And like, my first comment is the camera zooms in this scene are insane. The rest of the show does not have like crazy camera zooms, but this one does, and it's ridiculous.
When takes the chair and goes to smash Tyga, and the way the camera like zooms into like Tyga's like mouth for some reason.
I don't know why they edited it this
I
way.
I
It's
don't know.
ridiculous. I like sent a video of that scene and sent it to you while I was watching because I was like, what is happening? Yeah, we just get it just like turns really campy for some reason, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't know. Um yeah, the original scene they have guns, right?
I think so. And also just Payu has like the help of like really powerful people, right?
Yes.
So
And this version is just like knives and it's just him and he just walks in. And
yeah.
it's just like I don't know. The stakes are very different in this scene than in the
Yeah.
Thai version. So yeah, so they beat everyone up and Kai tells Fuma about his past relationship because Fuma didn't know the specifics. So Kai tells him and they're happy and Rei and Arashi are happy and everyone kisses and it's the end.
Yep.
And
And
that's
that's a
it.
show. I
uh, yeah.
I I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just
I
it was done
know.
too fast. Um, because I mean, I love the story of Love in the Air, right? Like I think
Mhm.
we both do, right? This is why the podcast is named what it is. You know, we talked in depth about the Thai version, and
Mhm.
like I don't even hate most of the changes they made. Like I think
Yeah.
the motorcycle, like the dirt bike thing is goofy as hell, but like outside of that I'm like the rest of it I'm like okay, that's fine. Some of it I think is better, like how the ex-boyfriend comes into play and stuff like that. I think they is a better approach,
Uh-huh.
but just the lack of relationship building and the lack of chemistry, it just kills everything for me because the show is pure chemistry.
Yeah, that is also what I thought as well. And
Hmm.
like I also Love in the Air has special episode. I don't know why. I thought the special episode for this one would be like new content. And like the first one's like the same. And then the second one is like kind of new but like terrible. So I don't really know. Like they could have why'd they have two special episodes when they could have just used the two episodes to like flesh out the story more for two more episodes. Because special episode 1 starts with a 7-minute recap. 7 of the 20 minutes is used on a recap of the show that I just watched. They could have used the 7 minutes for so many other things. Like, and the special episode aired right after the show finished airing, so it's like, wasn't really a break. Like people remember the story. I was just like, are you like serious? Like, we're gonna waste this much airtime on a recap when like the show suffered so much from, yeah, from pacing. Yeah, I was just when it started with that, I was like, okay, guys, I
Like a
can't.
previously on, it's literally like um Ray like going, "This is how we ended up here." Like,
Yeah.
like it's built into the episode. Um,
Yes. It's like it's so long.
it was. I was
And
like
like
fast forwarding, and I was like, "What is happening?" Like, I literally just watched this. Why are we?
I know. That's what me too. I was like I watched this and it was like 5 minutes ago because the whole show is 5 minutes long. um but yeah, so after the recap, Ray and Kai they like might be cursed because they both knocked over separate shrines and they go on this trip together and like it's similar to the original special episode, they like vow not to think about their boyfriends because they're angry with their boyfriends because they both think that they're cheating on them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at this point, they have Boss and Fort come in as a cameo, and it is a breath of fresh air. I'm so sorry, but like the minute these two walked in, I was like, yes, this has been the best part of the show so far. I feel bad, but like,
It was also
God,
my
I miss
favorite part.
them. Yeah.
I will say, so I had the cameo spoiled to me like immediately after it happened, right?
Mhm.
Because I watched the show as it aired, but I didn't watch the special episodes until this week. Um,
Yeah.
I took a
Yeah.
break. And so I knew they were in there and I'd seen the clips of them like coming on screen the first time. I did not realize
Mhm.
how much they were actually in the special episodes though.
Yeah, they're just kind of like hanging out around in the spa for like that special episode 2.
Yeah,
And like cuz that episode starts where they're playing ping pong together.
for some reason. I think there
Yeah,
was
for some
a
reason.
I think there was a language issue because
Mhm.
I think Payu and Pai were asking for like something with like because they're in Japan for a race. So
Mhm. Yeah, for a
so
dirt bike race.
yeah, so
Just kidding.
for some sort of race, whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
But so they're like in Japan for that, which the fact that Payu didn't bring rain, I'm calling bullshit on. Um
I kept waiting. I was like, are the other two going to show up?
no.
They don't.
No, they don't.
That would have been
Um
cool.
Yeah, so I think with the ping pong thing, like they were asking something to do with like the competition or whatever, and that's where
Mm.
Ray and Kai got confused and somehow they ended up playing ping pong.
Yeah. Which, yeah, is pretty interesting scene, and it goes on for a while. This
Yeah,
ping pong match.
I
There's a
did
lot of
fast
ping
forward a
pong
little
in
bit
this.
because I was just like, I
Y-
don't care.
Yeah, because yeah, after they play ping pong together, Arashi and Fuma show up, and they're in like these traditional Japanese outfits, and but now Ray and Kai they have to play ping pong against some random girl for some reason, and like they're like on the floor and like Payu and Ray or Payu and Pai run to like help them. And like I don't know, it's so weird. And then like Arashi and Fuma are like mad at them, and they're like really mean to them. And it's like, what's going on? But then we find out that it's because of the shrines they knocked over. It was actually like because one was like a fox shrine and the other one was like a tanuki shrine, and so it was like those spirits were tricking the two,
Hmm.
and so it wasn't actually their boyfriends.
Yeah.
It was so weird. I don't know. It was like like half the episode was just like their boyfriends being terrible, awful to them, and then it was just like, oh, Jk, you got tricked. It wasn't your
Yeah.
boyfriends.
With
Also, here's a lot of ping pong.
yeah, and Boston Fort randomly coming in and out.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like the special episodes, and then that's the whole show basically.
Yeah, the special episodes were my favorite part.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I will say I listed things I liked and didn't like about the adaptation, and we discussed most of them.
mhm.
I do kind of like having both finales at once. Like, I guess I don't
Yeah.
know. It's kind of a lot that happens, but at least it's like a climax
Mhm.
for the whole show to wrap up together instead of having like one climax midway through the show and then the second one at the end. It's like I don't know. I was like, oh, it's kind of like a lot of action to have it all happen at once.
Yeah, it's I go back and forth on this because like most shows would have had everything happening in parallel, right? Like it
Uh
wouldn't have
huh.
been we have one story arc and the other one because since this was my first BL, right? I thought this is just how it goes of like halfway through the show you change plot.
Yeah, and
Um
that's pretty unique to this show.
yeah, and like I don't mind it. Um I do think tying up everything at once at the end I do think is nice. But like I don't mind that the original didn't do that, right? Like it is a
Uh
little bit
huh.
of a full 180 going from Payu and Rain to Propie and Sky, because
Yeah.
the vibes are totally different because the issues are so different. But
Mm-hmm.
I think having them both
Yeah.
technically kidnapped at the same time
I
is interesting.
I do think that this version should have had both of the stories simultaneously.
Yeah, I think it would have worked
Cuz I
better.
think yeah, I think it would have helped a lot with the pacing
Mm-hmm.
issues. Cuz if you're going to have both finales at the same time at the end anyway, like
Yeah.
I think they could have done that with the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think it worked well in the Thai version to have like half and half because by the episode 6 or whatever when Payu and Rain's story is wrapping up, it feels like it's complete. But
Mm-hmm.
here, if they just would have done them at the same time, like things probably wouldn't have felt so rushed.
Yeah.
Even if, just because you'll have different things to watch in between, I think that could have helped a lot,
Yeah.
personally.
Because I think there's enough of the storyline that could, because it really, like, Fuma and Kai's storyline doesn't start until they sneak into that race, right? But
Mm hmm.
that does happen pretty early on. 'Cause that's what, like, episode,
Yeah.
like, 2 here? Um,
Mm hmm. Yeah.
so maybe 3. It might be 3. But, no, it's 2, yeah, 2 to 3.
Uh
So,
huh.
like, you could have started it, like, really there and then, like, built it in and kind of changed, like, the original storyline a little bit. Because
Yeah.
they do anyway. Because, like, the way the original one works is it's not until after the kidnapping that the Propie's like, hey, Rain,
Mm hmm.
give me Sky's info.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have just had them, like, start, doing that, like, earlier, even.
Mm-hmm.
So that there would have been more, I don't know,
Yeah, so you could have changed the
parallel
timeline,
storylines.
yeah, in a way that still made sense. Like, the option was definitely there. So I definitely agree. I think
Yeah.
that would have fixed some of the pacing issues.
Yeah. I think that would have been good. I also the one character I could not stand was Ray's character. I thought he was like acting like so childish the whole show and I was like, okay, like Rain's character was like Noel was giving us like bratty teenager,
Yeah.
but I thought this actor was just giving us like, oh, this is like literally a child. I was just like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't like at least Rain was like, yeah, he's immature, but he is like, you know, like a bratty, stubborn, like fresh out of high school, like on his own for the first time. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was selling that, whereas this character was just like pouting and
Yeah.
like whining the whole time, and it was just like it wasn't likable in the way that Rain's character was likable despite his flaws.
Yeah.
So that was the one character where I was like, yeah, I don't know if I like this portrayal.
Yeah. I think for me it just comes down to there was no chemistry between the characters.
Yeah, that's the main
That's
thing.
where it comes down to, because like the bratty, like, if Boss and Noel didn't have chemistry, Noel's bratty
Mhm.
teenager thing wouldn't have worked either. I don't think. I
Yeah.
think it would have also just come across as a little cringy, childish. Because I will say for me, Noel had some moments where I was like, I'm not really vibing with this. But then it was also like, this is
Yeah.
their, like, dom sub whatever daddy kink, you know,
Yeah.
like it works because their chemistry is there to
Yeah.
make it work.
And
Um,
also like they had the time to for Noel to make his character
hmm
multifaceted and
yeah.
more dimensional where that's just like another problem with this version is just like because the characters had such short screen time, they
hmm
all kind of felt one dimensional and I
Yeah.
don't think that's the fault of the actors so much as it is just like the fault of the runtime of the show.
hmm Yeah. I
So,
honestly, I think a
yeah.
lot of this comes down to just timing. Um,
Yeah.
so I think even with bad chemistry, I think we could have had it a little better. The chemistry is still so important with these characters, and
Yeah, that was
I just
that was that's tough to like try to
yeah.
fix.
One of the things I did like about the show was it was like at the beginning of the episodes or whatever when they would like have like the radio on, and like the radio would be
Oh,
talking about
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
what
The
like yeah, the
weather.
weather in the air or whatever. It was always like tied back to like what's happening in the show somehow. Um
Yeah, that is I do like those little things
so
in
it was
shows.
like it brought nothing overall. Like it kind of helped like explain the plot a little bit, I would say. Like it was supposed to like I think
Mhm.
explain what's like happening emotionally with some of the characters at that moment, but like I don't know. I thought that was a kind of a unique way of like flowing the story a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's a
hmm
good point. Yeah.
so yeah.
Not to end the season like on a bummer, but we were kind of just like we have to talk about this
Yeah.
cuz
I
you
mean,
know, we're BL in the air. We have to talk about love in the air
yeah.
for better or worse.
I mean, this is how we end seasons, right? Is with bummers because it's not like I was very kind about Tarn type either. Um,
The thing I've learned though is that like people love a hate watch.
yeah,
And if they watch something and they dislike it, they want to seek like validation from other people. And so I'm hoping if you also watch this version and you had similar thoughts that we did, I hope we could validate that for you.
yeah,
And yeah, and if you did watch this and you liked it, I'm I'm curious like the reasons that we listed, like the positives we listed, is that why you liked it or was there other reasons? You know, let us know. No
yeah.
shade if you liked it. I mean, I don't
No, yeah,
I didn't hate this show. It was more of just a disappointment that because I was comparing it to a show that I already loved so much. But
yeah.
I don't think it's like
It's not
a
the worst show
bad
I've
show
ever seen, right?
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like the same show for the most part, but
yeah.
you know.
It's when you're comparing apples to apples, it's not fun. Um,
Yeah, it's yeah, I agree.
that's where I'm really curious about people who didn't see the Thai version and only have seen the Japanese one, what they think.
Same. I'm
Um,
so curious about that
because
cuz
like did you like it? Like did you
I
catch a
feel like
lot
I
of
would
the
have
you would have
yeah, I
what?
feel like I would have liked it better, but
I don't know that I would have liked it any better because I just like the characters gave me nothing, right? Um
that's true. Okay. I probably yeah, I probably wouldn't have
like
liked it better, but I would have been disappointed less,
yeah, I definitely would have
you
been
know?
disappointed less because this show was so hyped and like because they had the original Love in the Air cast hyping the show too, right?
Yeah.
Um, like they were there on set for some of it even before we knew they were gonna make cameos and like they did PR together and stuff like that. So like there's a lot of hype to this, and then like this is what you gave me, um, because like I'm not a big fan of like remakes anyway in general.
Mhm.
Like especially if I like the source material. But this was one of those where I was like, no, actually, I'm excited to have a remake. I want another take on it. I want, it's I get to watch the show again, basically. It's like it's close to being able to watch a show for the first time, like your favorite show,
Mhm.
as it's gonna
Yeah.
get. And then
Mhm.
this they didn't give me what I wanted.
I know.
So, but yeah, I know one of the comments I've seen from people who enjoyed the Japanese version over the Taiwan is because it took out a lot of the filler. But I disagree with that because they took out the relationship building. Um,
Yeah, I think the filler is necessary both in sense of pacing and tone
yes.
because like the original version is like it's fairly like funny like
Mm-hmm.
especially Sky's character is like very sassy in the original and I think it
Yeah.
adds a lot to like his personality and his like relationship with others and stuff, and in this version he wasn't sassy at all, like
No,
there
he was
weren't
just
those
kind of
little jokes and
depressed.
stuff. Yeah, he was just kind of depressed, which like is just like sad,
Yeah.
but like those like little things I think build so much of like the atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
and the relationships between the characters and like the characters themselves, so you feel personally attached to them. And so to me it's not filler, it's like part of the story. But
Yeah.
I
'Cause
guess if people want to watch something like really quick, I guess I could see why they would prefer this version.
yeah, I calling it filler from the original has always thrown me as a weird comment because I'm like, I don't like there's a couple scenes that are like, okay, maybe that's filler, I guess. But like so much of it is literally just that relationship building that carries the show. That's like, okay, if you
Yeah.
skip like this, like if you skip how often Propie shows up and is over at like Sky's place, whether it's helping with a project because Sky called in the middle of the night, panicked because he was running short on time, and Propie was like, "I sped here for what?" Um,
Yeah.
you have that, or you have like Propie like cleaning the entire apartment for to just prove that he's here for more than just sex.
Mhm.
Which then leads to sex, but that's separate. And then, you have Rain chasing after Payu for forever. Like I feel like you need a lot of that to understand the characters.
Uh-huh.
So,
I agree with you.
yeah.
If that's filler, then like the whole show is filler, you
Yeah,
know?
right? Oh, sure. Um, but yeah, so next season we will not end on a meme show on a hate train, because we're 2 for 2 now.
Yeah, we gotta be. We'll end on a different show we hate,
Yeah, we already know
or
which
maybe
one.
we'll. Yeah, we already know.
We already know which one.
Yeah.
That one is already planned.
Yeah, don't worry. We sometimes you just need a good rant,
Yeah,
and it's very healing.
but yeah, we're definitely looking to see what shows we want to cover for next season, though. So, you know, speak now, forever hold your peace. Um, but yeah, that's all I have. Do you have any other thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, this season's been a lot of fun. Started
Yes.
crazy, right, with interviewing Mech.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's been from January till now. It's just been like a wild ride.
Yeah,
It
it feels like a
feels.
fever dream.
It does. I'm gonna wake up. There's gonna be some random man in my room.
Oh no. Uh,
Hopefully it's mech. I'm
I
just
don't
kidding. I'm
know.
sorry.
I don't know if that's better.
I don't think that's better. I'd be just as scared.
Yeah, like first off, what are you doing in the States? How did you find my house? I have a lot of questions.
We did tell him where we lived, so
We told him like what state we live in. We
what
didn't narrow
state?
it down from that.
That's true. That's true.
Uh, I think because of how we recorded, I think he had my full legal name on there, not just Alex. I'm
Yeah.
not that hard to Google, I think, but
Yeah, I have a pretty Googleable name too, but I don't know if my last name's out
yeah.
anywhere.
Oh, I know mine is just
Probably
from,
if you just look for my Instagram, I'm sure you can find it, but yeah.
yeah. So nobody stalk us though.
Yeah, please don't. We don't really need that.
No, we're not important enough for anything like that. Not that you should stalk important people either, but like just it's
Is
fine.
this the message we want to leave on?
Don't stalk people.
There you go.
All right. On that note, um, while you wait for the next season, or if you want to tell us what shows to cover for the next season, you can find us on any of our socials, so Instagram and TikTok at bl.in.the.air, on Twitter at bl in the air. Also on Discord, easiest one for that is link in the link tree, which links for everything's in the link tree. We will always be streaming video on Spotify and YouTube and audio pretty much everywhere. So we will see you in a
Yeah.
couple months, guys.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.